Okay. Good afternoon. What's different here today? We've been working with fractions, right? But what's different? So what Zane just said, there's an equal sign. Okay, so we didn't have any equal signs before. So now it becomes, what's it called when it's an equal sign? No equal sign is an expression. It's an equation, that's right. So we have equations now. So there's something different that we can do when we want to solve it. So anybody have any idea what we need to do first to solve this equation? Yes, common denominator. What is the common denominator? 10. So we're going to look at what is it what we would multiply 5 by to get 10? 2. So we have to multiply the top by 2 and the bottom by 2, right? So the 10, the 3x over 10, we don't need to multiply by anything. What's the denominator assumed to be on the 2? A 1. So what do we multiply top and bottom by on that? 10. So we're going to multiply top and bottom by 10. Does that make sense? So now we're going to get 2x over 10 plus 3x over 10 equals 20 over 10. So is there a way I can get rid of the fraction? Well, yes, multiply both sides by 10. Because it's an equation, we can now get rid of that fraction by multiplying by, now that we have a common denominator, we can multiply both sides by 10. So we're going to multiply this side by 10, and we're going to multiply this side by 10. So the 10s cancel here to give us 20. And then we're multiplying all of this by 10. So this cancels with both of them because we're multiplying this by this one and by that one. Does that make sense? It gets rid of our denominators. So we're left with 2x plus 3x is 20. What's our next step? Yep. 5x is 20. Divide by 5, and x is 4. Okay, so what do we do on number 2? What's our least common denominator on number 2? 6. So on the first fraction, we multiply by 2. We're looking at the 3 times 2 is 6. So we multiply numerator and denominator by 2. What about the 1/2? 3. And then the 5x over 6, we don't need to multiply anything by that, right? Because it's already a 6 in the denominator. So we get, this time, what do I have to do with the 2 and the x plus 5? Distribute. So I get 2x plus 10 over 6 equals 3 over 6 plus 5x over 6. And then what's my next step? Multiply by 6 on both sides. Again, because it's an equation. So those denominators cancel. And we get 2x plus 10 equals 3 plus 5x. What would we do next there to solve for x? And specifically, what would save us the most steps? Get what together? The variables. We want to get our variables together first, because that potentially can save us some time if we get the variables together first. So I'm going to subtract the 2x, just because if I do that, then I avoid getting a negative coefficient, a negative in the front. It doesn't matter. You could have subtracted 5x from both sides. So these cancel, and we get 10 is 3 plus 3x. Minus 3. 7 equals 3x, and divide by 3. So go ahead and do the you try, please. You're the first one today to say multiply both sides by 10. Nice, nice. Do it yourself. Was that already there? Or was it? What's that? The black was already there? Yeah. So someone else wrote all that? And do it yourself. Okay, good, good. I'm glad to hear. Did you get an answer already? Good. Very nice. I see your answer to number 3. Yeah, good job. Huh? Yeah, 48 over 5. Nice, nice. Sure. Are you a woman? What's your answer here? 5 over 48. Oh, wait, 48 over 5. Oh, 48 over 5. Sorry. You're almost there. You just forgot that you did it all except for that. Okay, answer on that one is 48 over 5. Everyone I checked with had that. So something I want to mention to you is that there are going to be students that do things differently. In 4th period, somebody said, oh, well, so-and-so did it a much better way that was much easier. And I don't go up, when I do this up here, I don't show the easiest way. I show the way that it makes most sense to most people. That's my job, is to make sense of it. So if I were to do it myself, yeah, I might take some shortcuts somewhere, but that's not what I'm going to do when I show it up here. I'm not going to take shortcuts because I want everyone to understand it. Does that make sense? Okay. So next one. Anybody have any idea the fastest way to solve when you have a fraction equal to a fraction? Nobody's been able to answer it all day. What's that? Yes, cross multiply. Very good. So we can, whenever we have a fraction equal to a fraction, we can cross multiply. That's not the only way, it's just the easiest. So we can take 2 times 3 equal to 5 times m minus 2. Does it matter which order? Could I have put the 5 times m minus 2 on the left? Yeah, doesn't matter. So then I get 6 equals 5m minus 10. Five m is 16, and then m is 16 over 5. Okay, on number 5, this is going to be the last one I do. What if this were the original way it was written, like this? Pay attention up here, because you're going to have some on your homework like this. What if it was written as 1/3 times x plus 2 minus 5 equals 1/2 times 4x minus 3? Could I rewrite that as x plus 2 over 3 minus 5 equals 4x minus 3 over 2? Yeah. So now it looks just like all the other ones that we did. Otherwise, I mean, we can always distribute that fraction there, but since it's a 1 on the top, then 1 times that top just makes it x plus 2 and then over 3. Does that make sense? What's 1? What is 1 times x plus 2? X plus 2. And then the bottom is a 1. 3 times 1 is 3. So all I did is I put the 3 on the bottom. That's all I did. And then the top stays x plus 2. And then I took the 2 and put it on the bottom here, and I left the top 4x minus 3. Because otherwise, we're going to have a bunch of fractions. We're going to take 1/3 times x and 1/3 times 2, and we're going to have some yucky fractions. And you can do that if you want. It's just much easier if you do it like this here. Does that make sense? Okay. So what would our least common denominator be here? 6. So we're going to multiply top and bottom by what on this first fraction? 3 times what is 6? So by 2. So by 2. And then what about the 5? Easy to forget that one. By 6. So 6 times 5, and then over 6. And then what about, golly, I'm sorry, it must be my shirt keeps doing that. The 2 times what gives you 6? 3, so multiply by 3 and 3. So I'm going to ignore that. And then I have to distribute 2x plus 4 over 6 minus 30 over 6 equals 12x minus 9 over 6. That's my next step. Multiply by 6 to get rid of the denominator. So the 6's cancel. And we get 2x plus 4 minus 30 equals 12x minus 9. What do we do next? We have like terms. We have the 4 and the negative 30. They add up to, what's 4 minus 30? Negative 26. And then what would our next step be? Subtract 2x. We want to get our x's together. So potentially that can save steps. Rather than bringing the numbers together, it can potentially save us steps if we bring our x's together first. So we get negative 26 equals 10x minus 9. And we get negative 17 is 10x. So x is negative 17 over